and I'm definitely, I have the Kindle version of your book. And like I said, I highly recommend this book. It is, and I've been, since I've been in Christ, past 12 years, I've read a lot of Christian books, but this book is, relationship wise, it is what you need. So you can get the understanding of, how do I choose the right person? How do I, overcome heartache, as we talked about? How do I get in the will of God? Get that book, order it, and read it, and be sure to, she definitely is anointed to serve God in this capacity. And we thank you.
Good morning, guys. I am here. Do not worry, I am here. Hope everyone is having a blessed and amazing day today. Give me 1 second. Just realized I did not have my affirmation cards. So yes, you just see me all in your face. Good morning, happy Monday. It is your girl Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration here. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. Today is the first Monday of October, and I truly believe that this message is a message that many people are going to need. So what I want you to do, you are watching me on either Facebook or on YouTube, hit the share, let someone know. The answer that they have might already be in their notes. Okay. So I want you to share. I want you to definitely be engaged. I'm watching the comments. So we are definitely going to have a great morning today. So if you have not been watching my Monday morning messages, I do start off with these amazing affirmation cards that I have been getting. I got these from Five Below. Good morning, Empress. How are you? I got these affirmation cards from Five Below. I don't think they sell them anymore, but you can make your own affirmation cards. So I'm going to pick a card for today, for this week. This is our weekly thing that we do every Monday. Oh, I am wise and humble. Matter of fact, I think this was another week. So this was last week. So we're going to pick the one right after it. I am powerful and fearless. Write that in the comment. I am powerful and fearless. And fearless. This is our affirmation for this week. I am powerful and fearless. Yes, I am powerful and fearless. We are powerful and we are fearless. That is our affirmation for this week. Like I said, every Monday morning, I have this conversation just to bring some inspiration for us as we are preparing for our week, because many of us do need it. All right. So this message is going to be straight to the point, right? Yes, Empress, I am powerful and fearless. So I don't know if anyone remembers, but in the beginning of this year, God had given me this message of you already have the answer. Go back to your notes. And that was laid on my heart this last week, over the end of last week, over the weekend. And so I pulled out my this is one of my first journals. You see how raggedy this thing is? This journal is from 2016. Okay. So I sat this weekend and I just started to go through and I started to read my old journals. And when I say the things that I'm about to embark on in 2022, I wrote about in 2016. And I think so many times we don't realize that a lot of the things that we want to do, a lot of the things that we ought to do is already written somewhere in one of our old journals. And if you don't journal, I encourage you to get started. Okay. So again, for those of you that are joining us on the replay, hashtag replay, so we'll know that you were also here. So I was just, like I said, I was reading through my journal and I was like, Dad, what was I writing? And something came, and this was like early part of 2016 when I wrote this. So I was actually working with a life coach at the time, and my life coach gave me an activity. I'm going to share 2 activities that she gave me that I think would really help a lot of people as they're moving forward in their life. So the first activity was to write a note to yourself from your lowest self and then from your higher self. And so I wrote this from my higher self. And I feel like because I feel like I'm getting closer to being my higher self, it resonated so much as I am looking at the journey that I'm going into, as I'm looking at the season that I'm about to walk into. And in 2016, I said, you did it. Keep going. No matter what you start, no matter what you started, something in your life will continue to manifest into greatness. The things you see are coming because that is you. Stop thinking because it does not create. Oh, stop thinking because that does not create you. And so for a lot of people, I don't know if you are an overthinker. I am an overthinker. I overthink everything. Let me know in the comments. Are you an overthinker? Because I know I'm not alone. And overthinking can talk us out of living our best dreams in life. If you are overthinking, you are talking yourself out of what is meant for you. This is the reason why so many people do body journals, and they'll write and write and write, and they'll write and write and write and write and write and write, and they'll write everything. They write out their dreams, their desires, their goals, and it never comes to fruition because they have already talked themselves out of it. There's no point in writing in this wonderful book. There's no point in dreaming the way that you've been dreaming if you're never going to believe. But I have another activity that my coach had given me. And when I say to you, when I really sat down and I was like, wow, I looked at the correlation of all of these things, and I was just like, this is the reason why many of us are stuck. So my coach had me, it's like make 2 columns, right? One column is, what is your desire? So I'm talking to God, I desire this. But then in the other column, what is your fear about this? So I'm not going to share everything, but I was like, I'm going to be 100% transparent with you because that's the only way I know how to operate, guys. So I said, I want to establish a good crowd for Saturday's masterclass. So you guys know I do a lot of masterclasses. And what was my fear? That nobody would show up. Now I don't know if I did the masterclass or not. Probably did. But because I had that desire, but I still had that fear. And a lot of times that fear is going to weigh so that no matter what you are working towards, this is why you can have the best goal. You can have the finances to finance it. However, if your fear is going to weigh so heavy, no matter what, it's 9 times out of 10 not going to be that successful. Get into major magazines. My fear, not getting any callbacks. Now that's the crazy part because I can't remember when this desire probably came true. And that's probably for the fact that I have that PR background. So I think that desire did come true. I was in Cosmo, I was in Dr. Oz magazine. So even though at one time I was not getting the callbacks, I definitely did, eventually did. So yes, Empress said fear cancels dreams. Absolutely. Our fear will always cancel our dreams. Then a lot of the things that I was reflecting on last night, a lot of things just went back to our finances, right? Not getting enough, not having enough money, not enough money. Just this one page right here, not having enough money came up 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Start a new clothing brand, not having enough money to get started. even though there is a way for you to start a clothing brand, but in 2016 I didn't know that. So I'm thinking I needed to have money to start a clothing brand, and I didn't. Right? So if you don't do your research, you will allow that fear to stop you. Having an assistant manager and paid publicist, not having enough money, traveling for pleasure monthly for at least 4 days, not having enough money, paying my credit cards off, getting up. Yeah, I didn't have enough money for that at that time. So it's like when you really start to think about, well, Tanisha, how do we overcome this? How do we see our desires come to fruition? How do we live everything that we're writing in our journals? And the best thing I can honestly tell you is that, one, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that everything that God is showing you, because I truly believe that a lot of times when we sit and we write in these journals, you're writing what God is giving you, right? Especially if it's something that's pressed hard on your heart, God is giving that to you. And last week I was on a podcast, and it was an amazing podcast. Please go back. You can go through my page. You would definitely see the link. And it was called Tears for Purpose Monologue Ministries. And I felt like it was when I hung up from that podcast, I felt so amazing, because it was just like, dang, I needed that. Not only for, to get exposure again, but I needed that. I needed to hear what God was speaking through me. So I'm sitting there, and I was listening to the young lady who started the podcast, and she told me that God gave her this very unique journey. Like, I want you to help authors to bring their books into monologues, right? So they're basically taking whatever book they have written, and now they're going to bring them into a sequence of monologues, which is phenomenal. That's not something that I've ever heard. Like, I'm not sure if Empress is still there. She's a poet, beautiful, amazing poet. And like, I know people write poetry and they will perform it, which can end up looking like a monologue, but I haven't seen someone take an actual like chapter book and recreate that into a monologue. So she could have allowed fear to come over her and say, that's impossible. No one's ever done that before. But God gave that to her. And I'm pretty sure God has given us all something that either seems totally out the way, it doesn't make sense, you haven't seen anyone in your immediate circle do it, but He gave it to you. And so I want us to start to believe, like, yo, He gave me this desire. I know that it's possible. He's not going to give you something that is not possible. I'm pretty sure Steve Jobs, all of these guys who are, they started their business in their basements and their garage. They were given these dreams, and guess what? Look at where Apple has evolved. Like, I was looking at somebody on TikTok. They purchased the first iPhone from someone on eBay, and they were just comparing like just how the operating systems were so different. And it was like, yo, this is possible. Like, someone told us back in the day that we're gonna just have flip phones. Matter of fact, scratch that. We always felt like we was gonna always just have house phones. If you remember a house phone, put house phone in the chat or the comments, or put the old phone, because we always thought that was all we're gonna have. We're gonna just have house phones and pay phones, right? And you can't find a pay phone to save your life. But at one time, that was all the way that we knew how to communicate. Like, we had to walk around as teenagers and as kids with quarters and change, because if anything happened, you had to find a way to call home and let mommy and daddy know, like, I'm not going to make it home. The bus is running late, the train, whatever it is. We didn't have a cell phone. Only the celebrities, the rich people, they had, the car phones and their cars. Remember you would watch the, like all and 90 yards of phone cord to get around the house. Yes, Empress, you remember what I'm talking about. We had them long cords, and then you would get mad because the cord would start to break up, and you'd be mad because you got to go to the dollar store, to the hardware store to buy a new cord. Oh man, But yo, we did not think that. I never thought I would have an iPhone. I never thought I would have a cellular phone that costs entirely too much money, but we're not going to talk about that today. That's not the point of this conversation. But it started with a thought and it started with a desire. And then somebody wrote it down. But a lot of times we write it down and we forget about it. And we continue to live our ordinary lives. We continue to live the life that we just say. We just, that's all I know. No, you got to go back. I started to go back and reread my journals at the beginning of the year because God told me, you already have the plan. Stop asking me. Stop asking me. Like, I will always ask God, what is the plan? What should I be doing? Stop. No, I already told you. You wrote it down multiple times. I think underneath this laptop is another journal that I probably wrote the same desires. I wrote the same things that I desire, right? So there was another part of, I was writing and this is actually something, here it is. What brings me joy, right? So all the things that at the time that would bring me joy. And where is it? 1, 2, 3. Number 4, driving on a sunny day. At that time, I wasn't driving. So this was probably early 2017. Sitting on the beach alone. Let me tell y'all, I'm disappointed that I'm not where I am today, right? Because I was supposed to be recording live from somewhere else, but God has other plans. That's why you probably saw me right earlier this week that delayed does not mean denied. I just gotta have some patience. But I am about to go on a journey where I'm going to be living number 4 and 5 on my things that bring me joy. And remember, I said my desire that I want to travel for at least 4 days a month. God said 4 days. No, we're not doing 4 days. We're going to do a couple of days. We're going to do some weeks, right? And so when I realized that, it was just like, wow, God has been placing this. I was talking to one of my old co-workers, and she knows my journey. And I reached out to her because she's down in Florida. So keep her in prayers. Everyone else who is, dealing with that struggle down there with the hurricane. And when I told her, because she was like, I'm seeing you. Are you about to do what's going on? She kind of got the hint. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to do it. And she was like, yo, you've been wanting to do this for years. I'm so proud of you. And it brought me tears because the people that I shared my dreams with certain people. Because a lot of times when I do share my dreams with some people, I always got negativity. So I got to a space where I stopped sharing with a lot of people. But the people that knew, the people that were with me in 2016, 2017, when I was like struggling, when things were just falling apart, and they know what I have been wanting to do. They know that the life that I've been living was not bringing me the joy and the peace that I desire. And the fact that they know, like, yo, she's about to really do it. She's going to take those steps. And these are, for some people, other people have already done it. And that's fine. I just know that because I can go to someone's YouTube page, I can go to someone's TikTok's page, and I can sit there and I can watch their journey. That has given me nothing but hope and belief that it is possible. We can always go to someone else's page, but I don't want us to get stuck in just watching someone else's story, right? I don't want you to get stuck there just watching and watching and watching. I want you to start realizing, all right, I watched enough, put the phone down, and I'm going to start making a plan so I can do what I needed to do. And I can start doing that same exact thing. People are supposed to be here to inspire you. I will share my journey only to inspire you. I don't want you to be in competition with me. I don't want you to desire what I have. I want you to just go out there, take that little bit of inspiration. That's why I am Miss Inspiration. I just want you to get a little bit of hope and belief that you can do it and you can execute on your own. That's why I'm here. I'm not here for any other reason. I don't want to be in competition with anyone. I don't want anyone to ever feel envious because your life is your life. Your path is your path. God is laying something on you that only you can do. This world needs what you have. You have to start believing it. The same way I had to start believing it. I was writing it. I was up here like, I want to speak and I want to get paid to speak and I want this and this and I'm believing it. But I wasn't believing it. I just wrote it down. And I made more excuses. So the thing that I'm about to do, and I'll just talk about it because you know what? It's happening. And that's all I'm claiming it. So I will be leaving the city for a little over a month. I'm finally leaving this amazing city called New York City. I'll be leaving it for a month, um, and some change, and packing up my car and driving down south. I won't say where yet, but I will be driving down south. And for me, that's huge, for multiple reasons because like I said, in like 2017, I couldn't afford car insurance and I had to put my car up. So I wasn't able to drive. And for some reason, when I got back on the road, this fear of driving on the highway, it came over me. Like, and it hit me hard. And I want to say I probably wasn't driving for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And all of a sudden it was like, I don't want to be on the highway. Let me tell y'all what that was. Because all it was a setup. It was a setup to keep me blocked, right? Because if you have this new fear, oh my gosh, I have a fear of driving on the highway, then that means that I'm limited on where I can go. Yes, I can fly anywhere. That's definitely an option. I love flying. Trust me, I'm a Delta girl. But it's something about being free of making sure that your oil change is done, which I will get done, filling up your tank, and then just going where God tells you to go. That's very liberating. And a lot of us, we never get there. But when I realized, I was like, God, you did not, I said, first of all, I'm not a punk, right? I'm not a punk. So if I'm afraid to get on the highway, that means I'm a punk. And I'm not a punk. So I started to, one, remember, like, yo, I drove to Ocean City, Maryland. So from New York City, I drove to Ocean City, Maryland. You know, there's parts of Jersey that's like 2 hours away. I've driven there multiple times. And it was just like, I used to work at, I won't say where, but they have a camp. And I used to drive to their camp upstate. That camp is like 3 hours away. And I used to have to do that at least 3 times during the summer. And I worked at this job for like 3 years. So I'm like, the math is not mathing. So I knew that was just a setup from the enemy to keep me stuck here so that I don't live out those dreams. So that everything that I'm supposed to be doing, it won't happen. And I said, I'm not allowing this to happen anymore. So for my birthday, I was gonna just, New York City has some cute things happening now. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just stay local. Then I said, you know what, fine, I'll fly out to Vegas. And the week before my birthday was when Vegas had their flood and, the flights was crazy. All of a sudden, no more direct flights. Everything was 2, 3, was on 1 to 2 stops. And I'm not doing 2 stops to go to Vegas. That's a bit much. So I said to my sister, I was like, love, let's go to Philly, right? Philly's a nice little drive. And I got in my car. We drove to Philly. While we was in Philly, we decided to go to Atlantic City, drove over to Atlantic City. I had to get rid of that fear because that fear was keeping me stuck in New York City. And a lot of times that's exactly what the enemy wants because unfortunately, a lot of you are going to do great things, but you're not going to do great things in your hometown. That is not always going to work out for you. And that might be a reason why a lot of you are not fulfilling what you have written down. You're not fulfilling what God has given you because you are getting stuck. And yours might not be like mine where you have a fear of driving or driving on the highway. It could be anything. It could be anything. I used to be attached to my apartment. Right? Oh my gosh, I don't want to leave my apartment and I don't want to sublet it. I mean, I still have my hesitations about that, but that is slowly going away because I'm understanding I cannot be attached. So if whatever you are attaching yourself to, whatever is blocking you, identify those things. Face it. Face it. Face whatever it is that you know is blocking you. Have that uncomfortable conversation with yourself. Because if you have a desire to do it, if you have written about it, you have dreamt about it, you have talked about it, and here it is 4, 5, 6, 7, some of y'all, it might be 20 years and you still haven't done it. Baby, I'm telling you, it can still happen. Those dreams don't die. They died when you died. And Les Brown always says, the place that has the most dreams, the most millionaires, billionaires, is a cemetery. Because people have never executed. They never went out after their dreams. They never attempted. I posted something this morning on Facebook, and people were it was someone else had oh man, where was it? Oh, if if you try and fail, congratulations. Most people won't even try. If you try and fail, congratulations. Most people won't even try. I just shared this on my page 3 hours ago. Tell me this is not in correlation. See, I don't mind talking to the person that started a business and they failed. I don't mind talking to them. Why? Because they still have a blueprint. And a lot of times, and I have said this several times, a lot of you have started businesses in the wrong locations. You're trying to start the business in your current city, and that might not be where you are supposed to have that business. In my book, Dear Single in Love, there's a chapter called Get Out of the Land of Familiar. A lot of you cannot find your husband or your wife because you will not leave your city, state, town, country, because you are getting stuck. You have to understand a lot of times we are attached to things that we are not supposed to be attached to. I love speaking to the people that have moved to other cities and then it didn't work out for them. Some of them might come back and then some of them pack up and go somewhere else. That's why I love watching the traveling nurses. I ran across a traveling nurse on, I think it was on YouTube. And she's been taking the traveling assignments for the simple fact that she wants to find where she belongs. So now she's like, look, I'm taking these assignments in all of these different states, all across the country, because I don't feel like I belong where I live. Right? Someone said, wow, go where God wants you to go. Yes, you have to go where God wants you to go. And if you don't know where God wants you to go, but you feel that urgency to leave, just go. Where I'm going, I don't feel like that's where God is calling me to go to like relocate, but it's a start. And guess what? I will make stops along the way. I will probably meet people. I get to see some people, right? I get to see my spiritual mom that I haven't seen since 2018. I get to see her. I get to see one of my friends from college that I haven't seen since forever, but we still been in contact. So you don't know who you're going to impact. Like I understand. I know that a lot of times God will send me on a path and he'll either send me to speak a word to someone. And that person might not be on Facebook. They might not be on YouTube. They might not follow me on Instagram, right? We have to remember that life happens outside of social media. And so many of us, yes, social media is a platform. It's a tool for us to reach a larger audience, but it doesn't mean that is the only audience. Some of you just have to go stand outside and be who you are called to be. Because a lot of times, like your presence is just enough. Your presence is just enough, right? Thank you so much. I don't know who you are, but thank you so much, Jeff. I will definitely drive safe. Your presence will be just enough. When you are a light, and trust me, a lot of times you would try to, you try to go in there low key and you like, look, I'm just here. And I know that's me. Anyone that knows me, I try to show up and I try to sit in the corner. And I'm telling you, that does not work out for me. God be like, mm-mm. And next thing you know, I'm being called out for good reasons. And so when I say to you, you have to stop allowing the fear, the distractions, the unknown, the uncertainties, the naysayers, leave them alone. Stop talking to them. Sit with God. Write it down. Go back to those journals. If you have a journal, go back, read what some of the things that you should have done already. And I don't care if it's 10 years ago, write them down. I mean, go back and read it. And you will be very surprised. Like, wow, like I was supposed to do this. I've been talking about doing this. What? I said I was going to live in my will. Like I wrote this down. Oh, hi, Melissa. Like living in my will, being financially capable of covering all my expenses. Y'all, do y'all know that I have a car? The car that I'm about to drive, I paid off that car in 3 months because I believe what God told me. I believe what God, because God told me everything that you need is within you. My truck was stolen. I don't know if you guys know, but my blue truck was stolen back in November 2020. They stole my blue. I was upset. But because 2020 happened and I understood I have talent, skills, and abilities, I used those talent, skills, and abilities, and I was able to make additional money. When that car was stolen, I was angry because that was my truck. She was paid for. She was mine. But I was able to, when they picked her up, like literally, I just stood outside. They picked her up. I called the Uber. I went to the dealership and I got my car. And then only thing I had to make sure was the loan that we are setting up today. Are there any penalties if I pay it off early? See, I don't need to tell them that they don't need to know my plan. Because I didn't even know the plan at the time. I was just hearing what God was telling me, right? Yes, God just wants to make room for new. Absolutely. I was just hearing what God was telling me. God was like, you want to just make sure that whatever contract you sign today, that there's no penalty if you pay this off early. And literally, after I got that car, I got called for another contract. And that truck was paid off in 3 months. They only got like $700 in interest because, you pay more in the beginning of a loan with interest than you do with the principal. That's all that they got. And when I say to you, that was like, that's what really made me understand, like, yo, you got to get back on track. See, a lot of times we forget what God has done already for us. So if God did that for me, I was like, well, if he did this for me, then I already know he's going to do some more things, right? Y'all see, y'all probably hear I'm talking a little bit different. I got my Invisalign. It felt amazing to not have to finance this. Right? I don't want to build up credit. I don't want to have a whole bunch of open lines of credit. I don't want to have to pay, because when y'all start, look at them, how much y'all paying in interest. Interest is the devil. Right? And I really had to sit here and I was like, God, I'm standing with you. Everything that I need, I already know you're going to come through. Everything that I need, I already know it's going to come through. You're going to make it happen. I'm not even going to be worried. And that's the attitude that I had to have. So when I understood that this challenge that was trying to stop me and keep me in New York, we're not doing that no more. God has been doing so much for me. So I booked and I planned. And it was so strategic because look at what just happened this weekend. If I would have left earlier, I would have been caught up in this mess. I probably would have lost this car, right? Don't want that to happen. So it was like I had planned it. Even though it was planned months ago, it was planned perfectly. I was able to get out of harm's way. I had to stay put. And now I can go. And I'm thankful for that. And I share that because I want so many of you have been following my journeys for years. And I don't want to just be that person where you only see this burgundy wall, right? And sometimes you don't see this wall. You have seen me go to Disney World. I was in Orlando last year for a week and a half. Like, yeah, you guys have seen, and I just want to keep inspiring others because there are things out there you are believing that are not possible, but you have a desire. You want to do it. Don't wait for people and use your talent, skills, and abilities to get the financing that you need. And I don't mean credit cards. There's a lot of things that you can do within using your own talent, skills, and abilities to make it happen. And that's what I want you to start to do. So I'm really thankful that we had this time this morning. I tried not to take up more than 30 minutes of your morning, but I definitely just wanted to come on and encourage you. So I do have some new things happening. I have partnered with Swag Her magazine, and I will be I'm one of their correspondents. So starting this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, I will have it all advertised on my page. I will be having my new lifestyle and things on their channel. So it won't be on my channel. It will be shared on my page, but it will be live streamed on their Facebook pages and YouTube. So definitely welcome you to join me on Wednesdays. You know, I have my throwback Thursday messages that come up, right? And so, you know, I don't know, but you guys will start seeing some things next week, Monday. I promise you, you will have a different view. I will release where I am. If you want to join me, I am bringing back Inspirational Trailblazers Lifestyle Group. We are going to be reading for the month of October an amazing book called The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. And I know I need to read that book again as I'm going on this journey, because the devil's going to try it. Like I said, he tried it for the last 2 weeks. He tried to aggravate me. He tried to get me to cancel this trip, everything. And I'm like, nope, I already know. Why do I know? Because I read this book 4 times already. So I already know the tricks, the schemes, everything that he's going to try to do to get me thrown off track. So if that is something that you're looking for, you can go to, it's on Patreon. And you can definitely go there. If you would like to, you know, support, you can. I know on Facebook now we have stars. You want to, you know, give me a star. You can definitely do that. If you want to sew into this message, you can definitely do that. Not begging for anything, but as always, God says allow people to be givers, because that is actually one of the gifts that we do have. So you can definitely do that as well. But thank you for spending some time with me. Oh, if you need a journal, go to Amazon, look for Tanisha Shanae, or you can just go directly to my website, tanishashanae.com/hello. You get the link. I have some amazing journals. Here is one of them. The Healing Journal is on Amazon. And we also have my Happy Journal. That's a bigger journal where you can write like more notes and things of that nature. So that is definitely available right now on Amazon. So if you need a journal, if you're not journaling today and you need to start journaling, get those thoughts out, then definitely do that. For those that came on late, our affirmation for this week is I am powerful and fearless. So I want to leave us there. I am powerful and fearless. Do not forget that every Monday morning I give you an affirmation. I am powerful and fearless. I know how to put it this way so you can kind of see it. This was our affirmation for today. So I hope you enjoyed this message. Again, share it. Let someone else know. And if not, I will see you all again next week, Monday, 8 a.m. Have a good one. Be blessed. Be well. I love you guys. And so does God all the time. Okay? Have a great Monday.